Today we're just going to cover some basic stuff, going over talents, some gear options, and probably some comp options as well. Alright, for the first row of talents, 15. Pretty much in PvP right now, you're always going to take Unleash Life. The versatility it brings by giving you an additional 45% on your next heal, plus the just flat baseline 11k heal is great. Plus you could use it in Ghost Wolf. It has a lot of utility. You know, if someone's low and you're not going to have time to get a casted heal, you know, you can Riptide, Unleash Riptide, give you a great boost to healing, and it is versatile enough that you could drop it with your healing surge or your healing wave. Give a nice boost on that heal. The Riptide traits obviously help, so if someone's really low, below 50%, you don't think you have time to cast it, doing that with that is also going to give you a lot of healing and really provide a little bit of sustainability to your team in those clutch moments where you're like, oh fuck, I don't have any cooldowns, I don't have any time to link or anything like that. And it's just overall so much better than Undulation and Torrent. When we go into 30 talents, again, you don't really have much choice. You're pretty much always going to run Earth Shield. I can't think of a time where Deluge is literally, might as well not even be an ability as far as PvP is concerned, especially Arena. Echo of the Elements. I would love to be able to use Echo of the Elements if I could, but without Earth Shield, I mean, it's ridiculous. You need to have that Earth Shield. When we get down to the 45 talents, this is where comp dependent, what you're playing against, will come into a big factor. If you think you're going to be trained and you think you're going to be a target option or you could die, Spirit Wolf is just fantastic. I mean, just if you take out the speed increase, even just the damage mitigation alone, 20% when it stacks to 4 times, which it stacks pretty quickly, as you'll see here. It's already at 1, 2, 3, 4. That's quick damage mitigation. That's huge, and especially if you're good at pre-shifting stuns, like against an RMP or RM Pala, or against really any melee cleave that you might have the option. You know, Train the Blue's been such a long time thing that it's a meme by now. So I mean, getting that damage mitigation up is huge. Is just absolutely huge, especially when you have. I mean, I only have one of the traits, Pack Spirit, but if you had more traits, it'd be really great. And also with the option of having Spectral Recovery, it really provides you with a lot of survivability. Earth Grab Totem also has a very good place. So some top-end players will debate whether which is better in which scenario. Obviously, having an instant root, you know, you can root someone behind the pillar where they can't get dispelled, or you just need them off you right now. It is fantastic to have. I have played a decent amount of Resto Druid and just healer in general, so I usually know when stuns are coming and stuff like that. So I do like to play the Spirit Wolf talent just because I'm able to get to pre-Ghost Wolf, as they would say, a lot of stuns and a lot of incoming damage. So I really personally tend to go towards that a lot more often, plus just the movement speed alone. Having movement speed in any type of PvP situation is always wonderful. But like I said, there is a lot of place for Earth Grab, so it's up to you personally what you're going to go with there. Most of the time I do pick the Spirit Wolf just because I like the way that mechanic works. And Static Charge, never use. That's not even an option. When we go to 60 talents, always Earthen Wall. It got the nickname Ice Block Totem, not for no reason. I mean, it is killable. It does have a decent amount of health, but if you can get an Earthen down on their cooldowns, or if you're about to be CC'd and you know that you're about to be CC'd, you have no way to avoid it. You don't have Trinket. You don't want to use your Trinket if you do have it right at that moment. Getting that down right before the CC, or even just trading it for their cooldowns, like a Vendetta or like a Avatar from a Warrior. Just a bunch of different. There's an abundance of cooldowns. I mean, Frost Mages, it basically mitigates all of their damage. It basically makes them useless. So you're never really going to switch out of that. It's just too good of a talent to ever pass up. Now, when you go to the 75 talents, you got Nature's Guardian. I love Nature's Guardian. I mean, when your health is brought below 35%, you instantly heal for 20% of your maximum health every 45 seconds that can occur. That's absolutely insane. I mean, to not have that, you have to know for a fact you're never going to get targeted. And even at that, this would be... Wind Rush Totem could be really good if it removed snares, which it doesn't. And people have to pass through it. So, I mean... I personally don't think it's that great of a talent in Arena. I pretty much never spec out of Nature's Guardian, and I would recommend the same for you. Now when we go to our 90 talents, I think Flash Flood is just overall the best option. I mean, it's very strong. It makes it so every time you Riptide, the next one after you consume it is going to reduce the cast time by 20%, which is huge. It's just huge. There's no two ways about it. I mean, it's just a nice fast cast. Look how fast that healing surge is. It's actually insane. So I mean, Downpour, it could be good. It's not. It's not that great. It's kind of to replace the Gift of the Queen, which you had in the last expansion as your artifact weapon. But it's just not nearly as good. Cloudburst Totem could have a place. I don't think that there's even a close second to Flash Flood. I think you're gonna run that every game. And we go to the 100 talents, I feel much the same about Ascendance. It's just, it causes everything to be duplicated and distributed evenly among your teammates. I mean, it's great for topping in, situations like with Incarn or your team's just rotting. Or if you're not facing a rot comp, it's even great just to pop directly after popping Spirit Link to top everyone off on the team, making sure everyone's good, no one's, viable for a swap target. It's an amazing talent, and the rest of the options it gives you is not very good, if I'm going to be honest with you. Alright, next we'll go into PvP talent. Gladiator Medallion is pretty much almost always what I run. If you're an Orc Shaman, which I am, and you play with a Demon Hunter, which I don't, but there's still a lot of good comps with Demon Hunter, versus Hunter teams, you will like to take Adaption, since Hodge won't proc your adaptation. Every time you get trapped, you'll either be adapted or your Demon Hunter will have reverse for it, and both those are on a minute cooldown, and you'll pretty much have the availability to get out of every trap that you encounter in that entire game, unless it gets feared off, which, by the way, if you Tremor a Fear, it will proc the adapt before your Tremor will get it, so make sure you're actually playing around that and knowing exactly what's happening and what can proc your abilities. When it comes to your second talent, Rippling Waters, always. You're never not going to take Rippling Waters. It's just too strong. Gives you an additional charge, and it heals for an additional amount if it's dispelled or if it is already applied on there. When you go to your second talent, I have Sky Fury selected right here. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't use Sky Fury all that much. I think that there's so many better options instead of Sky Fury. If you know you're going to have to purge a lot, Electrocute's an amazing option. Being able to just purge off and add a little bit of additional damage every time you purge is amazing. It helps your team a lot. It's not significant damage, but any damage is better than 0 damage is the way I like to think of it. An often replaced thing that I don't, when I'm like, oh, I might be targeted and I'm going to have to purge, I'll usually just run Spectral Recovery, because the additional 10% movement speed is really nice, as well as you heal every 2 seconds, 3% of your maximum health, which I said with Pack Spirit and the other Spirit Wolf talent, you're actually just, your Spirit Wolf is amazing, and it really, if you're able to pre-Spirit Wolf stuns, you're gonna see a lot of situations before where you would just flop, you just die, and you had nothing, you know what you could do about it. Now all of a sudden you're living through those situations, and it gives you a little bit of additional kite ability. I like it a lot. When you go to the third talent, Grounding Totem, I run Grounding Totem a lot. Grounding Totem is so versatile. I mean, you can Grounding Totem a bunch of spells, which obviously is helpful. You can Grounding Interrupt, or you can Grounding Interrupts, like any ranged interrupt, like Demon Hunter, Enhancement Shaman, Mages, Warlocks. Sometimes you're just sitting there fake casting, and they're not kicking, but you need to get a heal off right now. You can oftentimes throw a Grounding Totem, get a heal, maybe 2 heals off. Maybe they kill it and interrupt you, but more often than not, you're going to be able to get at least 1 heal off, or it'll provide you with a little bit of additional just cover to do what you want to do. In the off time, I don't select that. Every once in a while, I'll select a Counter Strike totem if I'm versing a turbo, and especially specifically a Mistweaver turbo. Whenever he pops away at the crane, I pop Counter Strike, and it's really nice for me to be able to know, okay, well, they're gonna do a lot of healing right now, but every time that he's doing healing and they're hitting something, they're getting damaged for that. They're not just getting away for that scot free. And it also, even which they will most likely kill that totem because they need to. That's a global or two that they have to get away from their target and hit that totem, which is not fun for them. Nobody wants to stop doing their damage, and it could save you in situations. We're gonna go a little bit over Azerite traits now and gearing. Uh, Basically, intellect over everything, versatility over any secondary stat, mastery and haste and crit are about the same. So I like to even it out. I like to have a little bit of haste, a little bit of mastery, and a little bit of crit. Because none of those other stats seem, in my mind and in my gameplay, to just be overwhelming. It used to be mastery was just so good, but if you only have mastery and you don't have any haste or crit, then your heals are doing nothing. I mean, look at what a healing wave heals for. 15k. That's nothing. I have 150k HP. 15k is so minuscule. You're gonna need some haste to pump out those heals. You're gonna need some crit to help you because those heals are not that big, and every time you crit, you do refund a bit of mana. But you do also need mastery because the lower your health is on your target, you want additional help with that healing because, like I said, your heals are just not that big. So it's really important to make sure you do that. As far as enchants go, Coastal Surge all the way. I don't think that there's even a little bit of an argument for anything else. Maybe an argument can be made for the versatility enchant. I think Coastal Surge is just significantly better than those. Now when we go to Azerite traits, your first trait you're going to want Surging Tides on all of your gear. If you can possibly get it. I don't have it on my alt shaman. I only have it on one piece, and trust me, I noticed the difference. Having those are incredibly important. When we go to your second one, I don't think in the second tier, I don't have a favorite. I do think that Savior is good, just an additional chance to heal with your 50 when they're below 50%, which procs with your Riptide. It's really strong. I think Woundbinder is pretty decent. Increases your haste when you're healing a target, and it procs higher on the healing when they're lower. Earthlink is okay. When you go to your third talent, I do think Pack Spirit's probably one of the best. This I didn't have the option. Actually, now that I see I do have the option, I'll probably go reforge that actually right this moment because I actually didn't even know I had that, so I'm glad that now I do notice that. And there is some argument to be made for Azerite Fortification. I mean, it's probably one of the best talents in that slot. I don't have the option to run that, so I don't run that. So when I don't, I have when I take damage, I heal for more. Every 6 seconds, whenever I take damage, I'll heal. It's not horrible, but having additional heal when you take damage, not gonna complain about that ever because we are susceptible to dying. I don't feel like I die very often. I do have sometimes I play with good teammates that help that, and I also think that my defensive playstyle and just shamans in general with the right talent choices are harder to kill than they have been in the past. Let's go ahead and run over some comps that I think are going to be good for you to run if you're trying to climb some rating here. But I mean, I think we all saw the BlizzCon, right? So we all saw Sea-Doo running DH, Boomkin, Arsham. Is that the best comp for an Arshaman right now? I think you'd have a hard time saying otherwise. It is incredibly strong. I don't run that. I don't know a good Demon Hunter on Horde. And also, it's just not a type of comp that I enjoy playing. I think that if you do want to get the highest rating and the most potential out of your shaman, that you will be running that right now until it gets nerfed. I should be running it if I'm going to be honest with you, and I think that I would be a lot higher rating if I was, but I choose to play with some friends. The comp that I'm currently running, I wouldn't recommend. I don't think it's that great. I think it has a lot of weak spots and doesn't have a lot of strengths. I run Arsham, Enhancement Shaman, Shadow Priest, simply because I know the Enhancement Shaman, I know the Shadow Priest. I like playing with them. I think they're pretty cool people, and they're willing to try new strategies for the most part. Every once in a while they disagree with me, which is okay. You're allowed to disagree with teammates, but finding that team where they're willing to work through something is going to be very important for you if you want to climb rating. I also think our Shaman Turbo, which is our Shaman Enhancement Shaman Warrior, is pretty good. I don't like running it, don't like healing melee cleaves. Just not my style of play, but I do think it's a very good comp. RPS, I mean, everyone I'm sure saw BlizzCon knows the move. Peekaboo, Wiz, Ab Surge. The Rogue Priest, Shadow Priest, Shaman. I think that is a very strong comp. It doesn't have any comps that it's like 100% win rate against, but it has a good shot against almost every comp. You can find win conditions no matter what you're facing, which I think is important when you're looking at just an overall comp. So that would be another good option. One of the best comps I think out right now is our Shaman S Priest Boomkin. There's not a ton of them out there, but I do think that it's an incredibly strong option. It's very durable. Nobody on your team can really die, and I think that that's the best option for you. I appreciate you guys all stopping by for my Shaman guide, and hope you guys have a wonderful day, and hope this was helpful. Make sure you guys subscribe below. All right, thank you guys. Peace.